Welcome to the Hope for Today podcast. Today is day 8. We're making a transition. We're moving from the life of Abraham, who is this foundational figure of the covenant.
A great patriarch.
Exactly. And now we're moving to the man who actually had to implement that promise on the ground, his son Isaac.
That's a perfect way to frame it. We're going from this grand, sort of abstract promise to the practical details, the nuts and bolts of inheritance and survival.
Right.
In Isaac's story, it's often overshadowed, but this period gives us such a detailed blueprint of how God's plan moves through transition.
How so?
Well, it shows us how trust isn't just about those big dramatic moments. It's about, patient waiting and even complex diplomatic conflicts over things like water rights.
Okay, let's unpack that transition itself, starting with Abraham's final years. We see he lives to an astonishing age, 175.
Right, and the description of his death is really striking. It says he died at a good old age and full of years.
It sounds so peaceful, fulfilled.
It absolutely speaks to the success of a life of faith. But what's fascinating is how the narrative immediately pivots to secure the covenant line.
You're talking about the other sons. He had 6 more sons with Keturah.
Exactly. He provided for them. He gave them gifts. Then he did something very deliberate and legally significant.
He sent them away to the land of the east.
Yes. And that wasn't just a geographical move. This was a critical legal maneuver in the ancient Near East.
So it wasn't just go find your own way.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Inheritance law was very clear. Isaac, as the son of the primary wife, was the designated heir. He got everything that mattered: the land, the wealth, and the patriarchal headship.
So sending the others away was basically preventing future disputes.
It was preemptively solving them.
Yeah.
He was codifying the spiritual promise into, legal and material reality. He made sure Isaac's claim was completely uncontested by his own half-brothers.
So the promise runs through one single, legally defined line.
Precisely. And then you get this beautiful moment where even Ishmael, who's been gone for decades, comes back.
He and Isaac bury Abraham together.
They do, in the cave of Machpelah with Sarah. And right after that moment of family peace, the scripture says God blessed his son Isaac. The transfer is complete.
And with that blessing, we move into the next phase of Isaac's life, which is, well, it's defined by waiting.
A lot of waiting.
He married Rebekah when he was 40, but for the next 20 years, nothing. She was childless.
And this is such a clear echo of his own parents' story.
Oh.
Abraham waited decades for Isaac.
And now Isaac waits decades for his heir.
But his response is what's so defining. He does one thing. He prayed to the Lord on behalf of his wife. He interceded for 2 decades.
20 years. That is persistent prayer. He was 60 when the twins were finally born.
And even the pregnancy itself is full of turmoil. Rebecca is in distress because the babies were jostling each other within her.
It sounds like more than just physical discomfort.
Oh, it was. It prompts her to inquire of the Lord. She knows something significant is happening, and she seeks to find insight into this internal chaos.
And the revelation she gets is just stunning.
It really is. The Lord tells her this isn't just a tough pregnancy. It's 2 nations struggling for dominance inside her.
2 nations are in your womb. One people will be stronger than the other, and the older will serve the younger.
And that right there is a major theological marker. Before these children had done anything good or bad, God has already established the outcome.
So this speaks to God's sovereignty over the whole plan.
It does. It doesn't cancel out human choice, but it gives this deep assurance that God's ultimate purpose is going to unfold, often in ways set long before we even make our moves.
And the birth itself just confirms this. The first comes out hairy, so he's named Esau.
Yeah, and the second comes out literally holding onto his brother's heel. So they call him Jacob, the heel grabber.
These names are practically forecasts of the conflict to come.
They are destiny markers, and they set the stage perfectly for our next big theme, which is all about the value we place on our inheritance.
Okay, let's get into that, because this is where the human drama really unfolds. The twins grow up with completely different personalities.
Polar opposites. Esau is the rugged hunter, the man of the open country. Jacob is the quiet one, content to stay among the tents.
And right away, we see a huge flaw in this covenant family: favoritism.
A tragic repeating cycle. Isaac loved Esau, the text says, because he enjoyed the wild game he brought home.
And Rebekah loved Jacob.
So you have this built-in division. The family structure itself is compromised by parental bias, and it just fuels the conflict that's about to explode.
And it all comes to a head over a bowl of stew.
The fatal transaction. Esau comes in from hunting, he's famished, and he demands some of Jacob's red stew.
Which is how he gets his nickname, Edom, meaning red.
Right. And Jacob, ever the negotiator, sees his opening. He says, fine, but sell me your birthright.
Now, we need to break down what that birthright actually was. It was so much more than just a title.
Oh, absolutely. It was 3 interwoven colossal things.
Okay, what's the first one?
First is the material inheritance. The firstborn got a double portion of the family wealth. So if there were 2 sons, the estate was divided into 3 parts, and the elder got 2 of them. It was huge economic power.
Wow. Okay, what's number 2?
Second, the social authority. He became the patriarch, the leader, the judge, the legal head of the entire clan.
And the third piece is the big one.
The biggest one, the spiritual covenant, the continuation of the divine promise from God, the line through which the Messiah would eventually come.
And Esau traded all of that. Wealth, status, eternal purpose.
For a bowl of stew.
Yeah.
And his logic is just heartbreaking. Look, I am about to die, he said.
Which is such an exaggeration.
Complete hyperbole. It's not a medical emergency, it's just hunger. He lets his immediate physical discomfort completely erase his entire future.
What good is the birthright to me?
And the text gives this brutal final summary. So Esau despised his birthright.
That's the core truth, isn't it? It's about this human tendency to undervalue what's future and non-tangible for what's immediate and physical.
The ultimate failure of delayed gratification.
And you have to ask yourself, what are we sacrificing today for the bowl of stew that's right in front of us?
It's a powerful question.
But even with this huge failure in the family line, God's plan moves forward. And this brings us to Isaac's own test. A famine strikes the land.
Just like it did in Abraham's day. And Isaac's first impulse is to head south.
To Egypt. That was the breadbasket of the ancient world. It's the logical, practical solution.
But the moment he starts to move toward that familiar solution, God appears.
And gives him a very clear command.
Do not go down to Egypt. Live in the land where I tell you to live. God basically puts a boundary around Isaac's anxiety.
And links this instruction directly to renewing the covenant.
Yes. God promises him descendants, land, the blessing.
Mm-hmm.
But then he says why. The promise is confirmed because Abraham obeyed me.
So Isaac's experience of the blessing is directly tied to his father's historical faithfulness.
The blessing flows through a demonstrated line of obedience. It validates the faith of the past generation.
And the irony is just, it's immediate. Fresh off hearing about his father's obedience, Isaac completely stumbles in fear.
It's psychologically staggering, isn't it? He gets to Gerar, sees the men looking at Rebekah, and lies, saying, "She is my sister."
The exact same mistake his father made. Twice.
It just shows you how deep these generational struggles with fear can run. He saw what happened to his father, and he still defaults to the same fearful response. Faithfulness is a daily choice.
But God protects him anyway. The local ruler, Abimelech,
Which might be a title, not the same person from Abraham's time.
right, he sees Isaac caressing his wife and realizes what's happened.
And he rebukes Isaac. He says, "You could have brought guilt on my entire people." Then he issues a protective decree. Anyone who harms Isaac or Rebekah will be put to death.
So God uses a non-believing ruler to shield the covenant bearer from his own mistake.
God's commitment to his promise is always greater than the failures of the people carrying it.
And that divine protection leads directly to tangible prosperity.
Immediate prosperity. Isaac stays put, he plants crops, and the Bible says he reaped 100-fold return that same year. His wealth just explodes.
Which, of course, creates conflict. The Philistines get envious.
They do. And their response is so petty. They start filling up the wells that Abraham's servants had dug. It's economic sabotage.
It gets so bad that Abimelech eventually tells him, "Move away from us. You have become too powerful."
And this is where Isaac shows this incredible, measured strategy. He doesn't fight. He doesn't escalate.
He just leaves.
He chooses peace and relocation. He moves away and starts redigging his father's old wells, even giving them the same names.
And this journey of digging wells becomes its own story. The first one, they quarrel over.
So he names it Esek, dispute.
He moves on, digs another. They quarrel over that one too.
He names it Sitna, quarreling.
But he just keeps going. He refuses to get stuck in the conflict.
He just keeps patiently digging until he finds a third well, and no one quarrels with him, and he names it Rehoboth. He declares, "Now the Lord has given us room, and we will flourish in the land."
He just patiently relocated until God created the space for his prosperity.
This all culminates in a final confirmation. He goes to Beersheba, God appears again and says, "Do not be afraid, for I am with you."
And Isaac's response is pure worship. He builds an altar and pitches his tent. He's committing to that spot.
And then comes the crowning moment. Abimelech shows up to make a treaty.
He and his military commanders seek Isaac out, and their reason is the ultimate testimony.
What do they say?
They say, "We saw clearly that the Lord was with you." They openly acknowledge that Isaac is blessed by the Lord.
That's the final application right there. When you respond to conflict with patience and endurance, when you keep seeking Rehoboth, your testimony becomes undeniable.
Absolutely. God's blessings, when walked out with peace, become visible even to those outside the covenant. Isaac's whole life shows that God's plan is just. It's steadfast.
Even through the waiting, the bad choices, the external conflict, through all of it, God remained committed to making room for his promise. The blessings are real, they are tangible, and they are a witness to the world.
So as you think about your own journey today, reflect on that story of Esau. How does that instinct for immediate gratification show up in your life? Are you maybe trading a long-term inheritance for a short-term comfort?
And how are you naming your struggles? Are you stuck in a place of dispute or quarreling in Esek or Sitnah?
Or are you patiently trusting that God is making a way for you, that he's leading you toward Rehoboth, a place where you can flourish?
It's a lot to think about. And we're going to see how all this plays out with the next generation tomorrow as the conflict between Jacob and Esau really takes center stage.
That was it for day 8. Meet you on day 9 tomorrow.